Ao vivo! Esperamos tanto por esse momento e ele chegou agora. Mais Histórias com Osho começando, o programa, o momento, o encontro. Feliz Ano Novo para todos vocês que estão chegando. E aguardem, porque hoje tem momentos muito tocantes, muito emocionantes nesta live de hoje. Cumprimentar aqui o meu amigo, meu querido parceirão, Abiro. Boa noite, querido.
Boa noite, Dívia. 2022, terceira temporada. Vamos em frente. Vamos ver até onde nos leva essa nave. Nós gravamos, trabalhamos muito para conseguir botar isso para hoje, né? Foi um trabalho que não foi trabalho, foi... Eu me senti como se eu estivesse trabalhando na comuna lá em Puna, enquanto a gente fazia toda a questão de legenda e tradução.
Essa
Versão,
legendagem,
né?
foi feita, né, em casa, né, e na unha, né? Vocês trabalhando
isso.
direto para legendar e colocar tudo certinho.
Super resultado, assim, porque a entrevista, a conversa é muito linda. Bom, não vou falar muito para não deixar surpresa.
É verdade. A gente pode falar que assistam até o final, porque ao final tem surpresa.
Isso, a gente fala mais uma vez. Enquanto isso, pessoal, dê o seu like, nós estamos no YouTube, dê seu like.
Estamos de volta, gente! Que bom! A terceira temporada já. Quantas foram até agora, Biro?
Então, bom, 55, 56 com a celebração. Aliás, quem não assistiu à celebração de encerramento da segunda, as playlists estão no YouTube, no Divya 10. E é fácil de acessar. A gente pode pôr o link aqui também, enquanto tem muitas conversas, muitos encontros marcantes, lindos, em que as pessoas relatam a importância do Osho em suas vidas e o que isso representa para todos nós até hoje. Eu conversando com uma das pessoas que a gente fez a gravação, eu conversei e eu disse que a gente vai chamar pessoas que têm a mesma conexão até hoje. Como a gente tem, eu e a Dívia, esse amálgama que criou, eu acho que deu força para isso, porque a gente tem isso nos dois. Né? Não precisa nem falar, a gente nunca falou sobre isso, mas a gente sabe. Né? Então, como a gente vê com aquela Jalad, quem não viu, da segunda temporada também, uma russa que a gente... Ela nunca teve com o Osho, ela pegou o Osho agora, 6 anos atrás. E olha o que ela disse.
É um fogo, e é uma vontade, e é uma vitalidade, uma energia que a gente sabe, né, de onde vem essa vontade, né? Parece que ela veio de lá. Uma linda.
Exatamente.
Assistam, por sinal, assistam, porque está muito linda, está muito inspiradora essa live.
A gente está batendo esse papo aqui, enquanto as pessoas estão entrando. E a
Dívia todo mundo entrando aqui. Posso falar? Olha só. Disse aqui uma querida, a Sônia, Champaque, Miguel, querido meu amor, a Parita, né? Todo mundo falando aqui, tão legal. Givan Jachan, tá? O nosso querido Guita, a Vissajana. Olha, um monte de gente. Vou parar porque não para aqui de coração, de
Sanguinha está de volta. Aplausos para a Sanguinha. Viva a Sanguinha!
Eba, Sanguinha! Que saudade de vocês! Que bom estarmos todos juntos aqui para esse recomeço. Né? É tanto amor, é tanto carinho que a gente tem por isso, que é uma delícia a gente encontrar aqui toda semana para compartilhar esse amor todo. Vocês.
A gente precisa dar os recados. Como é que estão os compartilhamentos aí, Dívia Sem Fronteiras?
Não compartilhei nada até agora, preciso compartilhar.
Então vamos lá. Enquanto a Dívia trata de compartilhar o que a gente está fazendo ao vivo agora nas nossas páginas de apoio, eu vou dando os recados aqui. A gente está fazendo pelo Facebook, mas depois vai aparecer integral no YouTube. Portanto, se travar, às vezes quando a gente passa vídeo aqui gravado, dependendo do tamanho, às vezes trava. Problema de conexão, etc. Se travar, depois vai ser colocado no YouTube com todas as correções. A gente tem esse cuidado depois. Tá? 1 ou 2 dias depois na íntegra no YouTube. Espero que hoje não ocorra nada, mas se ocorrer, vocês já sabem. Estará disponível, porque essa conversa, esse encontro, foi muito precioso para nós. E o resultado disso vocês vão ver a seguir, vocês vão saber por quê. E, mais uma vez, eu reforço. Assistam até o final, tá? Porque ao final tem uma surpresa. Que mais? Recados? Não somos nenhum canal oficial Osho, somos apenas um grupo de amigos contadores de histórias. Histórias com Osho. Que mais? Vamos lá, Didi, como é que está aí?
Os agradecimentos aos nossos queridos
os agradecimentos estão ao final. Os créditos são dados ao final do vídeo. Na própria gravação estão lá os créditos. E agradecemos mais uma vez o nosso apoio da Sanguinha, que tem só com esse apoio que a gente consegue levar mais adiante. Enfim, gente, a gente está muito feliz com o resultado, muito feliz de estar de volta. E vocês vão ter, acho que, uma surpresa hoje, assim como a gente teve. Eu não assisti tantas vezes que vou assistir de novo e vai ser novo.
Porque é assim mesmo, né? Que a gente sente. Então, todos os agradecimentos lá no final. Não somos centro oficial do Osho e vamos começar isso. Então, tá bom. Curtam, divirtam-se e até o final a gente aparece para dar um tchauzinho. Beijos.
Okay.
So, Gayan, how did Osho come into your life? And what happens next?
That's a small question with lots of answers.
Yes, it takes care of the whole story, no?
Yes.
He came in my life, without having a name, just a face. So for years I didn't know who he was. And at one point I didn't know what to do. And I thought, I make a headstand. And then I saw this picture like you see from far away, a round picture, which was the same thing like I had on the mala later, that picture of Osho.
Sim.
I saw this face and it just, it imprinted in me, and I unconsciously or consciously, whatever, it was there and I was always looking for it afterwards, but it took many years. And I met another Hatha guru, Hatha yoga guru, Satchidananda, who looked very much like him. And I came to know him too, because he visited Munich. And, but it was not him, that was somehow clear. And actually I found out, we bought a farmhouse where I'm sitting here now in the moment, in Bavaria, in Germany, in the south of Germany, with some friends. And it was a time, when lots of people tried different kinds of living together and sort of, not wanting the old style anymore from our parents. So a little group of friends bought this farmhouse. So we were there in the winter, and suddenly it knocks on the door, and there were some people standing there out in the snow, and because all the land communities, they were connected, and everybody had everybody's address, even if we didn't know each other. But that was an address where you could just go. And so they came in, they told me they had a car accident, the car was broken, and they were coming from a concert they were giving close by, and if they can spend the night there. So the guys come in, I said, yeah, come in, we have some space. So they come to the kitchen, which is the only really warm place at that time. And then they undress, and there was one guy who had a mala, and I'm just going to him and saying, who is this? And there was that face again. So that's how I found him. Or I found out who that is and where he is. No, and the guy that I met that evening was Siddhartha. He had the first center, the first Osho center in Germany. That's how I found out about him. And then Siddhartha, he handed me a flyer from his center, of course, with the Osho quote and things like that. And I read it. I don't know what it was anymore, but I read it and it was like, wow, So, and in that winter, half of the people that were living here on the farm had gone to India, because that was the thing to do at that time. Everything was still open, Afghanistan and so on. So you could go via with a bus or whatever. There were even public transports.
And
yep.
What year was it?
That was in 75.
75.
That was 75, the winter of 75. And they had gone there, and at that time, I met Siddhartha here in the house and knew about Osho. And when they came back, and we didn't know about Bhagwan at that time, when they came back from India, they were all sannyasis. So somehow they had found the way to Pune. Which nobody knew in the beginning when they were setting off here. They didn't know that.
So it was a kind of tsunami on you, yeah.
Yes, so it was great. Yes, they all started dyeing their clothes, and they all had new names and blah, blah, blah. But that how I found a photograph of Osho, and I really loved it, and I wanted to have it, so I got it. And then I read the first books, and that was it. Basically, no?
The book?
The book was the book of the books with these 108 meditation techniques, no? Okay. That one was it. Oh, they had a few books, but that was the first one I read. And so I really loved what he was saying, and it really, really resonated with me, And so the next winter they wanted to go again, but I couldn't go for health reasons. And then my ex-husband, the father of my daughter, and he said to me, so if you can't go now, maybe you want to fly later, And so he gave me the money, and then I took my daughter, and a friend from the house here, he also flew to Pune. Then in Pune, I had my little daughter, so I couldn't take part in anything really, because my friend was busy meeting all his friends and going to listen to Osho and things like that. So we were in the ashram the whole days, and we made friends and came to know everything there. But then my friend came and said, oh, today I take Hasya, so you can try to get a darshan or whatever. And I went to make an appointment. And when I came back to the ashram, the bus had come with all the people from our farm. So my daughter was totally happy Daddy is back. And so I could go to darshan, and that was incredible, really, because I was the first one that was called. So I didn't know, there were about 20 people sitting there, no? And Osho comes in and sits down, and you're like, oh. Then my name got called and I didn't know what to do. So I was there looking around, and then somebody came and told me to sit in front of Osho. And that was it. He didn't even ask anything. He said, close your eyes. And he wrote the name and gave me the name. But there was no question. I was home. I was there where I wanted to be. Wow. I was totally blasted. So it's so incredible to feel that love from Osho. That is so amazing, because I wrote to my parents later, I've never met a person like that. You know, you can't imagine in your wildest dreams. You can't, you know, because you have never seen somebody like that, or never even heard that there could be something like that. You know, Jesus, far away, I don't know what, you know. I was not very interested in that anyway. But that was the real thing, you know. So that was beautiful. And then afterwards, they all took me to a party. And, and you don't feel like going anywhere, you know. You just want to keep that space that you are in, you know, because it's so beautiful, so precious, you know. Yes. And you don't want to get yes. You don't want to let go of it, you know, but then all the people care what to do, you know. And they all want to see, and what's your name, and blah, blah, blah.
And so tell us.
What's the meaning of your name?
Yes.
It's Anand Gayan, means song of bliss.
Song of bliss.
Song. Gayan is song.
Song of bliss.
Yeah, I like it too.
So beautiful.
Yeah, it fits me, you know, because I never liked my legal name. I could never relate to it, you know, it doesn't mean anything to me. Okay. So it was really nice to get a new one. One that you feel that has something to do with you, no? Because I got the name from my aunt that died, you know, so it's like, yeah, not the greatest, yeah. Yes. But no, that was beautiful. What happened to me, and I didn't leave after that. I wanted to go back after 3 months, but I never did. Because many things happened. I fell in love with somebody, and then I moved in the ashram, and then I worked, and then Osho asked me to come and work in his library, and so it went all so smooth, you know. I hardly knew what the hell was happening, and what I was very naive when I came to Pune. I was 29 or 28, something like that. I had a very my parents were very protective of me, so I had a very secure and something, even at times a bit too much, but what the hell, you know. So I was not really experienced in the world, you know. Also, I lived there for a few years already, but then I studied ballet, you know, so it was another certain group, you know. So when I came to the ashram only later on, I understood how I got into there, you know, how it went whoop, 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 and I was in Lao Tzu house in Osho's house, and for me it was so, oh, yes, of course. You know, Yeah, no question about that. For other people, it looked a bit more, I don't know what, but not so, not so, sometimes not so friendly. Oh, I don't really know, but slowly I learned about all the politics, in a community like that.
Yes.
And came to understand how to move. It's not so easy because once you live in Lao Tzu house, and I lived there until Osho died, yeah, you get a lot of projections, how you should be and what you should say and what you should think, or blah, blah, blah. I'm normally nothing of that, So yes, I mean, I'm not a person that is very much outgoing. I'm very much inside and looking and watching, but still,
I remember you in Pune just passing around. I stayed for a year, almost 2 years there. Yes. And you knew the faces. Yeah, I knew Nivedanu, and yes. I remember you always quiet.
Yeah,
always quiet.
Very quiet. Now I'm much more outspoken too, Yeah, I guess when you get older, and at one point you do have something to say, and then if you don't say it, it's not good, because just now is the time not to be totally shut up, I would say.
Yes.
And at least I can share whatever I experience.
That's what we love to do here, to ask people to open up their hearts and talk about. I have a lot of questions while talking here, but mainly, Gayan, I have seen in Japan, in a place called Unity, this guy had these books where Osho draw those drawings of his signatures. I saw it in a book, and it was amazing. It was like something was coming out of that. I've seen the originals. This guy Gata Sansa, his name. He puts.
He made the big things, not the big.
Yeah, I was in his house. He made that. He printed that. And I was so shocked when I listened to Nilam saying that some of those are gone.
Yeah, what they did it's really awful. What Jayesh did, it's
That's
really
what
awful.
I heard.
I worked in the library for 3 years, so I saw all these books. And when Osho painted with these books, they have all different papers, the books, So when he was painting normally on the cover page, and then the next one, the hard page from the cover, and then the next that goes into the book, no? So he was normally painting on both of them. So on the page to the book, the color went through. So it was for the next 3-4 pages, it was becoming paler and paler and paler. No? But it was, it's amazing what he did, so simple, but they touched you so much. I don't know where and how, I don't know, but they really did, and some more than others and different with people, of course, not, but something is always there, and his signature also, the way it changed over the years, that is also beautiful to see how he was playing with that one, because he was playing with everything, Yes, really.
I've heard these books, there were about 700 or something. Is it true? Yeah?
Signature books, that could be. Oh, I sometimes forget the numbers. Yeah, but could well be that it was 500-600. And what Jayesh did, he cut the first page. You know, there was the signature, his signature, and the title, and the painting. So he took it out from the book, and then I don't know, it's somewhere in London in some kind of vault, hanging about there. When I was in Pune in around 2000, then Sidena from Japan, he's not Japanese, he's Australian, I think. He's a painter. He got a few of these cut out pages from Jayesh, and we made an exhibition in Lao Tzu house there. I could help him because I had lived there before, blah, 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 something like that, you know? So I was allowed to help him to put these exhibition together. But it was so sad for me to see that, you know, to have this page out of the book. I don't know, this Jayesh.
Yes, we are doing something that we always announce that we are not official, and we don't want to be official. I think we can preserve our love for Osho here without politics, you know.
Sure.
That's what we are doing, because it's true and it's natural. It's very true for all of us. Yes. No matter if you are physically close to him or not.
No, it's not. You know, no. I've seen people that were very close to him and didn't do it. You know, it depends on your openness. You know, if you really want him to be your master, you know. And it's like, you have to give him the allowance to cut your head, you know. So it's easily said, but not so easily done, you know.
See, yes.
Yeah. So many people can only go so far, and then they can't anymore for whatever reason. I don't know if they don't have the courage or whatever it is, but what to do, you know, everybody decides his own way, his own life, you know, everybody has his own responsibilities.
Yes.
So I'm fine with everything, you know. But I want to live my life. Huh?
I have more questions. I don't know if Divya wants to ask something.
No,
also. No?
Just go on.
How was it to live in Lao Tzu house, besides the politics, besides just the pure energy, the pure living in the same house as Osho? How was it to be in his library? Tell us, how was it?
The first time I went to Lao Tzu house was for me very strong, because I lived in Krishna house, which is next to Osho's house, and was working in the kitchen, which was downstairs in the house. And at one time, Diksha came to me and said they need a cleaner than Lao Tzu just for 1-2 days because somebody gets sick. You want to do that? So I said, yeah, sure. And then I went into that house, and that house has a very long red corridor. That's how it's called, because it has these dark red tiles on the floor. And along this floor, there are all the bookshelves, you know, so you go through the whole house on this corridor. And that was my job at that time, to clean it. And in the end, there, when you come into the house, there are the toilets, the shower, and so on. And that was also part of it. So I cleaned the whole corridor, and that energy in there is amazing. It has you come in and it has a silence in it and a coolness. That's the only way I can describe it. That is the beauty. It's like Osho in a way, you know, it's Osho's energy, really. And in that house, you could feel that. And I remember, so I did the corridor, and then I was in the toilet. You know, they have these toilets in the floor, also red tiles. So at one point I was sitting there and spacing out, you know, sitting next to the toilet, squatting down and just spacing out on this energy, you know. That is really, that for me was always the beauty of the house or wherever we lived with Osho. This silence that he created around himself, or that he emanated, or whatever it was, and it has a cool touch, you know, a very cool, spacious touch. That's how I felt it, and I loved it. You know, I loved it from the first moment. And after that, maybe a few weeks after that, I got the message from Osho, and I was not in any way particular connected to Lao Tzu. At that time, I didn't know many people there in the ashram either. So then Diksha comes and says, there's a message from Osho. When Anupama leaves for America, she was working in the library, then you can have the job. And I was like, wow, great, yes, books. I love books. You know, for me, there's three things in my life: books, dancing, and sewing. Everything, sewing, knitting, blah, blah, blah. I love doing that. No? That are three things I really love. I could do them all three with Osho. And that for me is so amazing, you know? So when I think of it, I can't believe it, you know? So when I come to his library, often I was sitting there in the evenings, because we couldn't take any books out of the library. But of course, I could look at all the books sitting there. No? And so often when I was sitting there looking at books and reading and picture books, he had incredible books there. Then Nirvana came in and said, "Oh, you're still here." Yes, I want to look at this. That was beautiful. And then when I came to the library, I was living at very close after Osho said we could. I was with Shiva at that time, living with him, and Osho said we could come and live in Lao Tzu house. And so I came to know a few people from Lao Tzu house, and in the library, we had a lot of contact with Nirvana, of course, or Vivek, because she was the in-between between Osho and us. And Lalita was in charge of the library, an Italian lady, and it was beautiful to work with her. So it was just great, you know, it was good chemistry. So, and then Nirvana came with a teacup and sat down and we gossiped a bit. So I came to know her and we became really good friends. So that was beautiful for me because I'm not an easy one to make friends, and really good friends, you don't have many, you know. So that was really nice to also hear her things with Osho, you know, because she was also a disciple. No, that was her main thing, not just being with him, but she was a real disciple. Yes, yeah, that's great. Yeah, she's one of my best friends, you know, and this whole time I lived there. Yeah, lovely woman. I loved going into Osho's room, which happened in Punavan very rarely. It happened when he created the mediums, and he wanted to have somebody to show him the dresses. And then Nirvana said, oh, let's collect a few dresses from here and there, so we can show him something, and then he can have an idea what he wants, because he wanted to design a particular thing. And he also asked Padma, the painter, to make some designs, because she was also good in designing clothes. And so one evening we went into, Nirvana and me went into his room with all the dresses and put them in the bathroom. And then I put on one after the other. And when I came in there with the first dress, you know, you have this very empty, cold room, you know, because Osho left it cold. And there's just this big bed, and then he had his chair there, and next to it he had a little cupboard with a tape recorder and his pens and his books. And so he was sitting there in the chair, and Nirvana was squatting next to him. And I didn't know what to do, so I just went in there. I didn't know what he wanted to see. And then he puts on the tape recorder and there comes a music from an Indian singer, but you know, a singer that just, I don't know how you say that just sings, there was no rhythm, no nothing there, you know, no instruments, just these Koloraturen, or I don't know how you call it, from these women. And I thought, how am I going to dance to this? No, he asked me to dance a bit so he can see how the dresses swing or whatever he wanted to see. And, and for me, that was such an incredible moment then to dance to this music and to see them both looking at me. I will never forget that picture, you know, that's something burned into my memory. That was so beautiful, just so beautiful, you know, because there's my dearest, most beloved people I had at that time, you know, except my daughter, of course. Of course. But, and they're looking at me, you know, and together in this room. And the room had, you know, Osho had he had a particular oil he liked. So the whole room had this smell. So whenever you come close to Osho, you get this smell, you know, so that it was just incredible.
What's the name of the singer?
I don't know. I don't know.
Osho
know. Had he started I don't know when, but soon after I moved into Lao Tzu, he started listening to music, and he had a lot of Pakistani and Indian singers, but this particular woman I didn't know. He had also Ravi Shankar and Yehudi Menuhin. They played a concert together, you know, like fusion stuff of the two music styles. And he liked to listen to that too. That I liked that too, because I had the same tape. So I knew that. And you could hear, because he liked to hear really loud. So when you were outside his room, you could hear that he was playing music. No? Yeah, with that woman, I don't know. You know, it's not really my style, but I guess he has different ears.
I remember this guy, Hari Prasad.
Yes,
coming on Osho's birthday to play. Beautiful, beautiful. I love it.
Yes, yes. Osho loved that one, really. When I remember rightly, he was telling once, because he knows Hari Prasad from when they were teenagers or so, from that time. And I remember him telling once that Hari Prasad was playing drums and Osho was playing the flute. So I found that very interesting. Yeah, yeah, yes. Yeah, oh, I love Hari Prasad. I came to know him pretty well. Because at one point in the last year or last 2 years of Pune 1, they were asking for somebody to play tambura. Hari Prasad always came with his flute player. He had another, not disciple, but also disciple, because the Indian music system works a little different from the Western one. So he now, I forgot his name, but now he's a very famous flute player in India too. He, Hari Prasad, and then Zakir Hussain was the tabla player. And then was the woman, I forgot who that was, playing tambura, the little one. And then they asked always one from the ashram to play the medium-sized tambura. So they asked me to play. And I said, whoa, yes, no, I have never played with Indian music. I only played with the sannyasin guys, you know? And that is not really Indian style, you know? So I have no idea. I just learned my own way to play tambura. So I don't know anything.
You have one on
yes,
your room
yes,
now,
yes. And then they said, yeah, you go to his room at before the concert, blah, blah, blah. So I said to Nivi, you come with me, you carry my tambura. Because I didn't want to go there alone, you know. I don't have any knowledge of whatever, you know, and he's a well-known musician. So, me. No? Anyway, so I went there with Nivi and I come to the room and Hari Prasad says to me, so you finally came. And I just went to him and hugged him. No? So I don't know what it was, but there is a connection. And whenever he came to the ashram, I played with him. Only the last time I didn't, but that was some politics involved.
You know, I want to tell you a funny story.
Yes.
Every time in Osho's birthday, he used to come and play. Yeah, is that right? I loved it. So I had my chair and I just put it next to the podium. I would sit there for the whole concert, just close my eyes, and did it for maybe 2 years. Then the last time I went to Pune was 1 year after Osho left his body. So they put a rope around the podium. Then I said, what's that? I just took my chair and put in the same place I used to. And then comes the guard. But the guard is Sadarji, you know?
Ah, great, yes.
He says to me, Swami, you can't stay here. And I said, why? Because every year I used to come and put my chair here and sit, and Osho was in the body. Maybe that time was not okay, but it was possible. Now you put this stupid rope around the podium. What's that? It's that Osho's energy doesn't go out. Is it for that? And then he said to me, you are right, stay here.
Yes. That is Sadarji. Yes, yes. Very good. Yes, yes. Yes, he was a great friend too, that one. Beautiful guy.
And Osho loved him so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved him very much. Him and Nivi were really great friends. They really fitted with each other too.
Yes.
You know? Yes.
And Osho also loved him so much.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, he was a beautiful guy, that one. Really beautiful. And amazing, you know, that an Indian, because we have seen a lot of Indians there, and can so get out of all the conditioning and all the Indian ways. That is amazing, you know, that is beautiful. So he could be really himself. which is so difficult for all of us, you know, to get out of this, whatever,
he
was stuck on us.
He was kind of a troublemaker, yeah.
Oh, yes, definitely. He loved it. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I have a record with his laughter. You know.
Yeah, you have.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, I have it. That's called a recording with drums and his laughter. Laughing Drums is the name of the record. He's from Pune.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's these guys playing drums like they did it in Buddha Hall. Remember African music?
Yes,
congas,
yes.
Everything. And then his laughter, they put, maybe Nivadanu participated on that also, because he told us that he made it in the darshan in Buddha Hall, yeah? Put Sadarji's recorded laughter.
That could be, yeah. He would know, you would have to ask him. I mean, for me, to be able to find this Sannyasin family, that was one of the real great blessings of my life, you know, to find these people that really resonate with me. Because I come from a German family, and after the war, my mother was always very much involved in gathering the whole family and everybody and going there and going here, and it doesn't matter if you like the people or not, something like that, you know, because they are family. So after, I can understand, after the war, they tried to find each other, and that was a very strong time for them, you know, to see that was their way to learn how dependent we are on each other in a way, you know, and how much we miss each other when we are not able to reach each other, and when we can't be together, and when we don't know, and all these things, you know, like we have now with this funny COVID number. That's why, you know, I never felt very much at home in this family. I had a few people, not even a handful, I liked, or I had some kind of relationship with. But actually my family I found in Pune, no? And with all the sannyasins around that I met over the years and things. That's beautiful.
Could you tell us a little about the period on the ranch? How was it for you? The period in Rajneeshpuram, how it related to you, or how you related to that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I was living in the house, in Osho's house. So we were very secluded, somewhere halfway up the mountains. And when Sheila built her fence around us and her watchtowers, we were even watched going in and out and things like so. From the outside, in the beginning, from the outside, in the end, we didn't have much space, you know. But in the beginning, it was beautiful because it was so big, you know. And I remember I was going with Osho once in the car because he was going around. In the beginning, he was going outside of the ranch too, in the direction of Madras. And he was so sweet. He was telling me, so everything you see around, so many, I don't know, 1,000 acres, that all belongs to us. No? But at the same time, I could hear he was telling me in what he had seen in New Jersey when he was going around, that the houses had the garage right built next to the house. So the people didn't have to leave the house. They could go from the garage to the house. You know, and he said, there are no people on the road, you know? Nobody's on the road, you know? So later I started I heard a little bit that it was all a little bit barren for him, you know? There was not much life, neither in New Jersey, of course, not in our place on the ranch either, and there was not much nature either. No? So we started reforesting. Yeah. But what I feel, he would have liked to have a commune in India. But for reasons, whatever, it didn't happen. And that was a pity, because at one point we were very close to it, the end of Punavan, to go to Kutch. But then the prime minister said it's too close to the border. So they were worried, because the foreigners, I don't know what, could be shot, or I don't know what. So it was a thing of security also. That was the excuse, no? Because they just wanted to make it impossible for Osho to have a big commune anywhere in India. So that was a pity, because he had so beautiful plans already. And there was this German architect, Govind, he had already drawn out everything, how to do. And
where was it going to be?
Kutch, in Kutch. It's close to the Pakistani border. That must be, yeah, have a look.
It would be dangerous because of the Muslims, or what?
Because of the border and the security and blah, blah, blah. In that area, the reasoning, no?
India somehow is praising Osho now, but that time they harassed him a lot, yeah?
Yes. And it was the time of Morarji Desai, and Osho said a few things about him, and he hated that, you know, the prime minister. He really hated that. So there was no way to win, really, you know, yeah.
That's Osho.
And what to do? Osho, you can't, you know, he can't keep his mouth shut. So, yes.
And don't try to persuade him, yeah?
No, better not. You know?
He would be do the opposite, yeah?
Yeah, he would be even more outrageous, you know? Yeah.
I've heard many stories. You know, I heard the whole interview of Neelam, that this
Jyoti, no? Jyoti, yeah.
She just published the whole thing.
Yes.
The last part recently. It's so beautiful.
Oh,
so
I
beautiful,
loved
so
it.
good.
I loved
that
it.
Intimacy with Osho, and that simplicity of her.
Yes.
Beautiful,
you know, she is so much in the heart. That's also how she ran her thing in Nisaga. You know, she built a little meditation place there. It's not so little, but it's basically for meditation, for groups, for things like that, not for hanging out, no? And I visited her in 16. She invited me to come.
In Dharmasala?
Yeah, close to the Dharamsala, yeah. It's a little bit more down, no? It's really at the feet of the mountains, while the Dharamsala is a little up already. And I really felt there, you know, the same kind of energy like that was around Osho, you know? That place really had the energy of meditation, and still has, I think so. Yeah, beautiful. She did it so beautiful there. Not only aesthetic, but everything. You can drink water from the taps. She has the own house. So everything is really well taken care of, and in such a loving and lovely way. Even for India, for example, there were some people coming there, and they thought, oh, they are in India, you know, so all the servants are theirs for 24 hours, like it is in India. And they were trying to tell some people in the middle of the night, please make me a cup of tea or whatever. And then Neelam found out and said, no, we don't do that here. You know, these people are working for us. They have their working hours. They are not empregadas, that you have 24 hours, you know, living in the backyard somewhere. And that is so beautiful, because for Indians, it was a real, you know, like...
because they are abused, usually, yeah?
Yeah, they are like the empregadas in Brazil, where I don't know if it's still like that, but
I think less and less.
Yeah, that's what I feel too, and that's good too. No? But they were living in the house. So from what Nivi tells me, you know, they were living in that little room, and anytime you wanted anything, they had to do, you know.
It's in Brazil, we have this culture coming out of slavery, and this is still, you know, in this.
It takes time, no? It takes time. Yeah,
it takes time, really.
Yeah,
really.
They have that in India too, no?
Yeah,
very similar. No?
Indian people.
Thinking. Yeah.
Yes, Indian people, I think, is even worse because it's like I've seen scenes in Pune. These people living on the streets, you know, they have no dignity. Nothing.
No, because they also have the caste system, you know. So so that the untouchables, you know, you can just do whatever, you know. So in Brazil, they don't have that, thanks God, you know. Really.
Yeah. We were talking about the ranch, the ranch.
The ranch.
Yes.
Yeah, how that was for me there. For me, it was a very, very intense time with Osho. I haven't experienced it before, no? And it's really something, no? Yeah, great. But we left again. Where were we?
You were in Greece, living Greece.
We were living Greece. Osho was going. And then what did we do? We went with some sannyasins to Italy and Spain. And then I was called to come to Uruguay. And so that was just a few days before my father was dying. So I went, I got the telephone call on the same day. One from my brother saying I should come to Hamburg to see my father because he's dying. And then from Cologne telling me to come to Uruguay. So I said to Cologne, I need a few more days. You know, my father is dying, I need a few more days. So I went to Hamburg first and then to Uruguay. And Nivi came from Brazil. He went via America to Brazil. And then we telephoned and I said to him, come, because there were other sannyasins around that could come in for the discourses. You know, that were not living in the compound where we were living with Osho, but they were living in that little village or whatever that was. And they could come in for the discourses, come to the house. So I said to him, come, you know, so you can see him and we can meet and hang out a little bit. And so that's what he did. And there it was actually very nice because the minister, the president, right? He was very, he wanted Osho to stay. He was a very nice, nice guy. He could somehow see that it would be also very profitable for his country. To have somebody there, you know, that brings a lot of tourists and money. Yeah. So, and he had nothing against it. But he was called to the American president. I think that was Reagan still at the time. And he was told either you send him out of your country or you have to pay back the loan and you won't get another one. So he was very sorry to tell us that he can't do that with a loan, that he has to, because he's the president of the country, he has his people, he needs the money, it's a poor country, so we had to do that. But then the Americans had some kind of trick there. I think they wanted Osho deported. And I can't really remember how it was. Anyway, in the end, they didn't get it. So Osho always had a very good feeling. Nilam was telling about it, no?
Yes,
so
yes.
He was also saying, no, he wants to fly now, something like that. You know, it had to be, I can't really remember how it was. Anyway, it just fitted, you know, so that he could get out without the step. And somehow that is good not to have in the passport, I heard. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I remember a part of it. I was living in São Paulo that time, and we are all very excited at the center there, the meditation center, because Osho was in Uruguay, Punta del Este. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to book,
Yeah.
calling agencies. Then the message come: don't come.
Yeah.
Don't come
Yeah.
because it's gonna be trouble. And we are not in a situation yet to receive people. So wait.
Yeah.
Then I heard 2 people I knew, they came anyway. And
the painter was there from São Paulo.
Vigyan.
What was it?
Vigyan.
Yeah, I think that was it. Makes this big painting.
Yes,
no?
That's his name, Vigyan Aguilar. Vigyan.
Yeah, Aguilar.
Aguilar.
Yes.
And also Purna. She was the coordinator of...
Aski was there too.
Rasky.
Yeah. She was there too. Yeah.
I don't know about Rasky, but I knew from Purna, the coordinator of the meditation center in Rio de Janeiro, Sukida. I met her.
Yeah.
Just later on, I met her and I heard her story. I said, I was stupid to follow this route. I should have gone. And then I thought to myself, either one of them, Vigyan or Aguilar or Purna, one of them would bring me to Osho. I put it in my head. And then, in fact, I went to Bombay. He was in a friend's house there. I think it was 86.
86.
Yes,
86.
He was there. I remember the room of the house. We would go one day and then split, wait for 5 days to go again.
Yes.
Because it was little room and packed with people.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's when Nivi and me and the sewing room was in Munich at that time, because there was no space anywhere there in Bombay, no? Yeah. So we were sending stuff from Munich, you know, new dresses, because Osho needed new dresses for the whole world tour. He was wearing the same, no? So we made some stuff there. That was really nice because we could give it to sannyasis that were going there. And it's always beautiful to carry something for Osho, no?
Yeah, I remember it was a kind of secrecy to go to India. You cannot go openly as a sannyasi. They wouldn't allow you. So I took my mala, just a picture, how you call that, locket. And I put it inside the cookies package in my pocket. And I got to India and I went through the customs, everything, immigration, customs, everything, no problem. When I was going out, they separated my suitcase and called me, which one is yours? I said, that one. Then open it. Then I opened and came out Osho's books and videos and tapes, everything. But I was going out of India. And these people, they asked me, are you a sannyasi? I said, no, I'm just a friend. I didn't speak much English, you know. And then I said, no, I just visiting temples in India. Then when I said this word, temples, it was like a magic word. They said, temples, okay.
Great.
Not ashram.
Very good. Yes.
Visiting temples. It was like I didn't know anything about this, you know.
Regular.
You don't know anything about temples, huh?
Yeah. So, Gayan. And then Osho went to Pune,
Yes.
Back to Pune, beginning of 87, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Soon you went there?
Yes, yes. They were telling us that they are moving on the 7th or whatever of January. And then we just booked tickets, and Nivi and me, we couldn't go directly like the other ones because they wanted us, for some reason, to take Garimo. And Garimo was on this list, you know, all the airports and so on. They had a book, a black book, Disciples of Bhagavan Sri Rajneesh. And so they were checking all the passport against it, no?
Wow.
So we were flying to Kathmandu and then going by bus to Patna. And it was really dicey on the border, but Nivi, he did it. I tell you, he had a Playboy with him and lots of pens and things like that. And we had all, you know, like shawls around us. It was in the middle of the night, and Garimo, we left, you know, sort of outside of the door, and Nivi was talking to the guy, and he was a travel agent, and he wanted to take tours, and man, he can talk anybody into anything if he wants. And then he was, you know, pushing when the guy started, you know, with Garimos, both of us were not in the book. But when he started taking Garimo's passport, we had seen already she was in there. So he was really getting into it. And somehow he managed, you know, that the guy just gave the stamp and gave the passport back. And then...
Nivedano had a Playboy magazine. It was that time that he gave to the border guy.
Yeah. And he had some pens and, you know, all these little things that Indian can enjoy. And yeah, that was really great. Man, he was really talking because it was coming really close, you know. I was standing behind him and Garimo was just outside the door. So when we got out of there, that was the first step. No? And then we had to find a taxi in the middle of the night, you know, to go to Patna, because the border is just, you know, a fence that's nothing, you know, between Nepal and India. Mm-hmm. But Nivi is, for things like that, he is unbelievable, no? He got in the middle of the night, he found a taxi. We all got in, and then they have all these customs, you know, one after the other, how they call it, octroi, and what they all have, you know. And so they looking through all the stuff and blah, blah, blah. So when we were in Patna, finally, we actually wanted to go to the ashram by plane. But then Garimo got so scared. She said, oh, but then maybe at the airport, blah, blah, blah. Also that we were inside the country. But then Nivi said, okay, then we just go by train. And so he went to the train station, and he got first class air-conditioned tickets for all of us for the same evening. I mean, that is quite something. The only thing he didn't get right, or the guy didn't tell him right, was that the train will take 12 hours or 16 hours, whatever. And actually he took 12 or 20 hours more. So we didn't buy enough water and things like that. So when we arrived in Kalyani Junction, that's between Bombay and Pune, where you change direction, Garimo was nearly fainting on the platform. So Nivi was running off again to get a taxi, and I was trying to find something to drink for her. So I thought she was dehydrated or something like that, and it was stinking like hell. So I got a little cloth, you know, with some, I don't know what, Kölnisch water. And then she was okay again, and we could drive. We found a taxi, and then we drove to the ashram. And of course, right in, you know, Nivi always goes right in to Lao Tzu gate. Yeah, so then we were finally there. Oh, it was so good.
Home again.
Yes, yes, really was wonderful to be there again. No?
Okay.
And then started all again to build.
Yeah, because the ashram was a bit run down, you know, not really nicely taken care of, and some buildings were gone too, some temporary buildings and things like that. And then they started redoing things, you know, and the roads, and there was a lot going on, and we got a beautiful big porch for the sewing room in the house, in Osho's house. And I needed more people, and so more people joined us. And Osho gave us a message after America was very glitzy and shiny and all these things. He said he would like it to be dark, at least the middle part of the dress, so he could show off his beautiful beard. So the whole thing became a bit more tuned down, which I actually liked, you know, because Osho, yeah, he can wear these glamorous things, but it's not him, you know. He is really a simple man, you know. He's elegant but simple, you know, not all these. So, and it's also not my style, you know. I like it more classy and elegant.
Low profile.
Low profile.
Yeah, not doesn't have to be low profile, but more classy, you know. More,
okay.
Yeah, not so showing off, you know, because
I know.
Osho doesn't need that, you know. He is, when he appears, it's already enough.
Happens.
Yes. So whatever he wears, you know.
Yeah, but he seemed to like playing always, like a kid. You know, I remember Osho came to Buddha Hall with this glass with the lights going like this. You remember that? He got that as a present, then lights.
Or one time on the ranch, when we were making hats in the beginning, he had all these knitted robes. I don't know if you ever saw pictures of that, but he liked to have stripes on the sleeve, on the hem, and the collar. And then he had a knitted head, of course, and also stripes, you know. So I made him a pom-pom. And with stripes, of course, you know. So when we made something new, I made this pom-pom and I stitched it on. You know? So next time when I come into him to talk about something, or he's sitting there with the head, with the pom-pom.
Santa Claus.
So we are both laughing and then talking about something. In the end, he says, "So now you can take it off again." But it's so sweet, you know, because everything is so loving with him, you know. I mean, if you don't come from a loving space, you can get hit quite well, you know. But if the whole thing is in a loving space, it's just beautiful. We made in Pune too, we have a mannequin for him. Ashish made a wooden mannequin for him because for many things it was just easier to hang it and then see and blah blah. things like that. We also had always some model, like on the ranch, it was Vinod, the Indian actor, Vinod Khanna. You know him?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. And in Pune too, it was Nivi. And before, yeah, we always had to find somebody that had a similar, mainly it was the shoulders, no? That you need a similar
length of shoulder.
Yeah, width here, no? So you can see how the thing hangs on the shoulder. Yeah, so we also made some jokes in Pune too, that we put the mannequin somewhere where Osho could see it, and then we made a how you call that, like in the comics, a blob with something written in it.
Ah, okay.
You know, like somebody is speaking. No? We made that too, you know, Osho saying something. Or we had him once, Mira, the girl that was painting, she showed her paintings because Osho wanted to choose for the books, which paintings from her he wanted in the books. So there was in the library, there was a little exhibition. So we put the mannequin there, and Osho with no, he had the brush in the back, hiding behind his back, and then looking at her pictures and then saying something. I wonder if she will discover who made the little changes in her paintings, you know. So we always, and Anando is telling that in her book too, because she was doing the ghost number, which is also really great. At that time, we really enjoyed that. And I think Osho enjoyed it too, you know, to have a few little surprises from his sannyasis.
I have a friend, a Brazilian guy, who had 2 paintings on the cover, paper cover of the books. I think it was one of them was Zen Manifesto. I think it was the last book, the last talks of Osho,
Yes.
And somebody saw him carrying the painting around the commune and said, "Hey, let me show this to Osho."
Yes, great. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that when things like that happen, you know, when they just happen and then, you know, out of it comes something so beautiful. Hmm? I really love that on the ranch. There was this one, I can't remember what it was. I think it was in the day, but Osho was not talking. So it must have been some kind of celebration or satsang or whatever. Anyway, in the end, he was always calling somebody. And then because nobody came, the whole hall came up to him. Have you seen pictures of that? Everybody was coming in, going up on the podium even, and the whole podium was full. And at that time, we still had bodyguards for Osho, and the guy that was guarding at that day, he was so blasted because he said, there's so much love around, there's nobody going to hurt Osho, no? He was just behind Osho. And then, and the thing was, Osho wanted me to come and dance, but I was sitting a little bit back. So I saw him doing this, but I never thought he meant anything with me or anything. No? So when at one point people were just getting up and going up, and then I went with Nirupa, who was sitting beside me. We went up just in front of Osho very quickly, just because we thought so nobody can really press onto him, you know, like if somebody pushes from the back or who knows, but it was nothing like that. And it was just such a beautiful energy, the whole thing, you know. And then when Osho wanted to go, then suddenly, you know, everybody went out of the way and he was passing to his car. So everything was full, you know, with sannyasis, and everybody enjoyed. And when I came home, then Nirvana said to me, Osho wanted you to come and dance, you know. And I said, I had no idea, you know, I had no idea. That was in the very beginning, and I didn't know that I would ever dance again. Who knows, you know, with Osho, you can't expect something, you know, that is, yeah, doesn't work. Anyway, I always felt whatever he wanted me to dance, but actually I think that whole thing was so much more beautiful. Nah, coming out of me not understanding, me being dumb or whatever. But that was incredible, incredible picture. I can show you a picture.
Ah, yes. So you have few of them? Wow.
Very beautiful. Ai, que lindo.
This was on the ranch?
Yes, that is the stage where Osho is.
And
all the people.
lá em cima.
Lá em cima, wow.
White, branquinho.
The white dot, that's Osho.
Wow, beautiful.
Where is Wally?
Wonderful.
But anyway, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you too.
E aí, gostaram? A gente fica embevecido, né? Com a energia mesmo. E com as histórias e tanta proximidade do Osho. Me toca profundamente.
Fiquei lembrando da palavra que a gente, para traduzir, a gente teve alguns vai e vem, né? Mesmo assim, às vezes passa uma coisinha ou outra, mas essa palavra blasted, né? Embevecido, foi o que você falou, agora ela falou várias vezes. Então é isso, gente. Que bom. Sanguinha com a gente.
Muito
até o fim.
Bom.
Semana que vem tem mais.
Não tem como não gostar. Biro, Sanguinha, boa noite. Até semana que vem tem mais.